Good morning, everyone. This is Tamara from Seraphim Center for Healing and Education, based in Oakland and Lafayette, Northern California, United States. I wanted to create this part 2 of a video a series I started yesterday. And so you can always go back to part 1, and the series is focused on self-compassion and self-witnessing. And so what I brought up yesterday in series 1 is, what does self-compassion mean to you at this time while we are in this situation, in this pandemic? And so today I'd like to focus on part 2, which is I've been reflecting on this question myself. What does self-compassion mean? And what came to me today, which is different, is that an aspect, a dimension of self-compassion is being present. Is being present to what is happening at the moment, rather than catastrophizing or being in some unknown future which hasn't happened yet. And so I know it sounds simple, but it's hard right now because of not only the amount of information that's coming at us, but also the type of information that is coming at us. So how do we, this is a question for all of us, how do we remain present to what is happening at the moment without an aspect of our energy being in the past, or an aspect of our energy, a part of our energy being in a future that hasn't happened yet? How do we do that? And that's, I believe that guiding ourselves to remain present in the moment is a really critical aspect of self-compassion. So I'll use an example that has nothing to do with this virus situation. So for instance, let's say I have to give a talk and it's before 500 people. And in the past, when I've given talks when I was younger, I used to get very nervous and lose my grounding. And so before I start preparing for the talk, I start building up anxiety, and that's okay too, because we have to witness what is going through us. And I project into the future and I see myself sweating and losing my grounding and not doing a good job. But what do we do in that moment to be self-compassionate? Is applying practices to bring ourselves back into the present moment. And so I wanted to share with you some of the tools that I use to bring myself to the present moment. So one tool that I know is self-compassionate and it's amazing for presence is breath work. And I've posted several videos on my channel on breath work. The act of breathing, deep breathing, anchors our awareness in the present moment in the body. It takes us out of the past, brings us to this moment. It takes us out of the future, brings us to this moment. So that's one really effective way, and we have access to it. We have access to it. Nothing is required other than just making the intention of taking deep breaths. Another tool that brings us to the present moment is nature. So it's zooming into an aspect of nature that gives you joy. So when you feel yourself, part of your energy shifting to the past or shifting to a future that hasn't happened, a really self-compassionate thing to do is to go to nature. And that could be anything. It's not necessarily a hike in the forest. It's maybe, I don't know, appreciating, like I have this bamboo here that I love. Maybe it's like tuning into the bamboo a little bit, or maybe it's looking at some flowers, or even maybe visualizing or meditating with some pictures from nature. So I know nature and breath work bring us back into the present moment. Another thing that you could do is affirmations. So, what if all is well in this moment? What if I am safe in this moment? What if all is okay in this moment? I am safe. I am okay. So those are some tools that I recommend for presence. I'm really interested to hear your input as to how do you anchor yourself in the present moment? How do you self-compassionately gather your energy from the past, from the future, and just come to this moment and know that you are safe and okay? So I'm going to keep going with this series, but I wanted to focus on that today. The present moment, and bringing ourselves to the present moment is an act of self-compassion. How do you bring yourself to the present moment? I'd love to hear your feedback. Thank you so much. See you soon. Bye-bye.